Have you guys ever, drove around in really nice neighborhoods, like awesome neighborhoods, and you were doing this because, not necessarily because you could afford them or you wanted to buy them right now or today, but because you wanted to see and know what you could have in the future. You wanted to be inspired. I did that too, and the craziest thing happened to me. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action on Instagram and YouTube, and today I want to share a cool story about something I went through. It actually happened the way I didn't even think would happen, because a lot of people, they get caught up in the life that they're living in and they get stuck there, and they're cool with being in the neighborhoods that they're looking at, and even if they dream about going to a different house, they'll stay in the category that they know that they can fit in. But some of us, like me and you, we'll dream big dreams and we'll go to these big neighborhoods. I mean, 5,000 square foot, 6,000 square foot, some of you guys even 10,000 square foot houses. And you'll say, hey, this is where I want to go. A lot of you all will even try to manifest these houses by getting out of your car, walking down the sidewalk, because I've done this before, and talking to the neighbors like you live there, so you can know the feeling of how it's gonna feel when you move to that neighborhood. Now, we did something like this for like a year, and we came across a property, just like we come across property all the time, because we're real estate investors. We're making offers on property every single day, right? Cash offers that are low, seller financing offers that are creative, subject to offers to save people from foreclosure. And so after me and my wife did this for about a year, we came across this property. We called it the Castle House. It had been on the MLS for over 2 years, priced at $1.5 million. And we did the most audacious thing we've ever done. We called our realtor, who typically lists our flips for us and all those good things. We said, hey, we want to see this property. And he got us a showing. He got us a showing. When we went to the showing, once again, we were only looking to be inspired at what could happen later on in the future. Now, we got a call back from Eric after we said we wanted to see the property. He said, hey, man, first of all, they're asking for proof of funds. Second of all, they're saying that the realtor and the seller is gonna be at the house when we walk through it. Are you guys okay with that? And I'm like, dang, that's intense, I mean, I've never walked a $1.5 million house before, so maybe that's just what they do. But he said, no, that was out of the ordinary. And I was like, but we still want to do it. So I sent them one of my pre-approval letters that I had, from one of my mortgage brokers for a multifamily that I had. And so boom, that got us in the door. We set up the appointment. I think it was on a Tuesday while the kids were at school. We had the smallest 3 kids with us. We went to the property, and surely enough, the seller and the realtor were there. Now, outside of that, we were like mind blown, because this is in one of the best neighborhoods in the area. It's sitting on 5 acres. It has a 20-car garage. I mean, the Castle House looks like a castle, and straight inspirational. Now, we learned a lot of things about $1 million properties that I had never learned before. $1 million properties have statues. They got art. Yeah, they got art, but they got statues. They had dinosaurs. They had alligators everywhere. They had the Star Wars E.T. green looking thing in statues. We learned that $1 million properties have pocket doors, the doors that go into the wall. We learned that $1 million houses have super tall ceilings, no matter if you're on the first floor, second, or third. $1 million houses also have a security aspect to the house. Everything about this house was awesome. 5 bedroom, 6 bath, just like what we wanted. More than 5,000 square feet, just like we wanted. I love cars. 20-car garage is crazy. We're getting ready to leave the property now. The realtor and the seller, they're blocking us from leaving. They're blocking us. They're standing in the way. And we're like, hey, we're about to go now, And they say, well, what do you think about the house? I look at my wife look at me. I'm like, yo, we love it. It's an awesome house. way better than what we thought it was. But because with all of the different wallpaper and all of the artifacts, it made it seem like outdated, country, or, you know, cosmetically old, but really the house was just built in 2015. So it was a brand new house. Realistically, I knew that if I went to my mortgage broker and I had to provide my credit, my reserves, come up with the down payment and all those underwriting things that banks traditionally ask for, I knew that it would be like a shot that I probably wouldn't be approved for 1.5. You know, David Moore had told me at the time, you know, 750, 800, but not like 1.5. So I knew that it was a long shot, you know, to actually say that I could, you know, pay for it all up front. My investor salesperson self said, well, the only way I'd be able to do this deal is if you would carry the note. My first reason for saying that was he would just say no, we'd be able to leave the house and we'd go on about our day. The second reason why I said that is because I'm a real estate investor. And at the end of the day, no matter what property is in front of you, you can make an offer that is so good, if they say yes to it, you can accept it, you know? And this dude said the craziest thing to me. He said, yes, I'll carry the note. What? Excuse me, sir? He said, yeah, I'll carry the note. How much down could you put down? And anytime a seller moves on past, they're not gonna get the full amount of their sales price, that they're willing to take an itty bitty down payment and receive monthly payments, is on and popping. It's game time. It's negotiation time. You have a real possibility of getting this house. Now, for me mentally, I didn't think that people of this caliber, because this house is paid off, by the way. It's a paid off $1.5 million house. The house beside it was another $800,000, $900,000 house that was paid off, that he built for his parents to live there. They still live there, you know. So he's financially well off. So we go into negotiation. We agree on down payment. I get him to come down from 1.5 to 1.2. I agree. I get him to agree to a 30-year AM. So that means that he's willing to hold the note for 30 years. This guy's in his 60s. We agreed on monthly payment as well. So the one thing that we did not talk about was interest. Didn't talk about any interest. And 3%, 4%, 5% interest can drastically change your monthly payment, you know, when you're talking about financing a property. And since he did not mention interest at all, I told my realtor to put $0 interest on the purchase agreement that we sent. Now, that was kind of where we messed up on this deal, because it was an awesome house. We fell in love with the house, loved the house. And unfortunately, once we sent over the purchase agreement with the down payment price that we agreed on, the monthly payment, but the interest rate of being 0, we completely turned the seller off. He ended up doing that exact same deal with someone else. They ended up selling it to him. What this property did for us, even though we didn't get it, was it allowed me to be open to say, if we want a mansion, we can get a mansion. If I want this kind of house, this seller will be open to giving me the terms that I need. And from that day forward, I think that was in 2020. I think that was during COVID, during the shutdown, because we were recording in our house. So since 2020, I've been targeting houses that have 5 bedrooms, that are over 5,000 square feet, that have more than 4 acres, that I can buy between 800 and 1.2. And I've been talking to so many sellers, making so many offers, off market and on market. We probably made over 100 offers on these kind of properties to sellers like this in this category. And we finally found a seller that said yes, and we're officially under contract to move in our new property. And during this due diligence process, and I'm going through all of my normal stuff that I always go through when buying a property, you know, figuring out what my rehab number is going to be, figuring out what my entry fee is going to be, figuring out what my exit is going to be. Every time I'm doing numbers on this, I'm straight amazed and inspired that this is still even possible, that we can buy property, not just real estate investment property in the hood, okay, or not even just in better neighborhoods, but we can buy $1 million properties like this, mansions, you know, dream homes, without having to bring our own credit, without having to show proof of income or show reserves or any other thing that a traditional bank would say no to you for, that we would be able to get a property like this under contract. and say, hey, we're gonna buy, we're gonna live it, we're gonna stay in this house. And this is where we're going to raise our family. It's straight mind-blowing. Now, I'm creating this series, and then I'm going to walk you through about how we market it to these people, right? What kind of marketing worked best to get us the best responses? What we had to say to these people to even get us to believe that we could be serious about purchasing it. What we put in our offers, how we came up with those offers, and then also what our exit strategies is. I'm going to make a whole series about this house and even show you the property as we're rehabbing it and once we get moved in. Now this is going to be mind-blowing to you because, like I said, it still is to me. And so I need to do a few things before we actually start sharing all of this, okay? Because nobody ever shared this with me. And I think it's extremely valuable to the entrepreneurs, because I see some of you entrepreneurs out there making $500,000 a year, you know, killing the game in your business, in your area, but you're using all of the tax advantages to bring your income down to zero on your taxes. You're doing all the right things, right? It's legal, but you're not able to qualify for the house that you can afford and you can move in, even though the law says that you can. So I want to help you guys on this road. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a video, 4 more videos sharing with you guys how you guys can do the same, and also just sharing with you my story as we go through closing on this property. But we need you to actually join the Patreon. Now, our Patreon is only $7 a month. Once we get to 100, I think we're at 35 right now. Once we get to 100, we're going to start dropping. As we get to 100, we're going to drop more and more videos so that way you guys can implement. On our Patreon, we actually share our weekly coaching calls. They're the replays. Okay, so they're the replays of 101 calls during the week when somebody have a question about a deal or want help underwriting a deal. They're the weekly coaching calls when I bring in one of my millionaire friends that has multiple properties or just purchased a property subject to a seller financing. They're the replays from a student, you know, doing deals actively. So join the Patreon, and as we get to 100, I'm gonna share with you this journey on how you can do something crazy and buy a mansion seller financed. See you guys on the next one.